And welcome to Media Mash, our weekly opportunity to expose the mainstream Obama mania media and their liberal bias. A lot of ground to cover this week. And as with us always, we have the one and only president of the Media Research Center, Brent Bozell. Brother Bozell, welcome back.
How are we doing, Dr. Hannity?
All right, all right, Mark. All right, let's start with the president himself, because he sets the table, and what he says, the media repeats. Let's start with him.
Who are these 50 million Americans? Many are somebody's grandparents, maybe one of yours, who wouldn't be able to afford nursing home care without Medicaid. Many are poor children. Some are middle-class families who have children with autism or Down syndrome. Some of these kids with disabilities are, the disabilities are so severe that they require 24-hour care. These are the Americans we'd be telling to fend for themselves.
The Republicans' plan has passed. Kids with autism, Down syndrome, old people, fend for yourself. And by the way, that Minnesota bridge, because Republicans don't support, infrastructure building. Reaction.
This is Sean, this is some of the worst fear-mongering I've ever heard. And I think personally, I find it despicable that this came from the President of the United States. Now, that's my opinion. The reporter has an obligation to look into these charges. If these charges were true, they should be headline news everywhere. There's a problem. They're not true. The Republicans haven't suggested anything of this nature. Where is the press denouncing this man and his demagoguery? The campaign, we are in full campaign mode. They are 100% on his side. When he does this kind of stuff, Sean, understand he does it because he knows he can. There's only one network, this network, that is doing anything to blow the whistle on him. The other ones are going to go along with it.
Yeah, and he's not very fond, especially of this show. He doesn't have the courage to come on here because he might get a few tough questions. So he goes to friendly outlets quite often. All right, let's go. Right. He said that. Now let's see how the media handles what he says and how they characterize it.
After many years where Democrats kind of cried wolf about Republicans wanting to, throw Granny into the snow, this time that's what they have just voted to do.
Budgets are moral documents. You can say what you say, but you are what you are. And when you put your budget on the table, that's when we learn who you really are. And I'm not so sure that this is not anything more than an immoral document where the poor are concerned.
The only cuts that they seem to want are the cuts for the poor people. And you have a modest majority, 52. You're laughing because you know how right-wingers think. Well, they don't mind cutting the poor people who get Medicaid.
They want old people to eat dog food and die. And the suck up to Obama,
Sean,
media, that's what they say.
These are all attacks on Paul Ryan and the budget proposal that he put forward. Now let's look at the numbers. You heard what they just said. Let's look at the numbers. In the next 10 years, he proposes to raise spending from $3.6 to $4.7 trillion. Over the next 10 years, for Medicare, for that very same program, he proposes to increase it from $563 billion to $953 billion. Sean, that's a 70% increase. Those are the numbers in the budget. What you just heard, what you heard these people say when they're saying that we're going, that the numbers show who you are hearing three journalists lie on national television.
Yeah, because they want access. Isn't that what this is all about? If you suck up to Obama, you get interviews. If you tell the truth, as we're doing tonight, there's no chance you ever get an interview. All right, let me go to this. It seems, I agree with you, the Ryan budget would almost double the amount in Medicare spending. Then we have the issue of the birther issue that's out there. So here's a serious proposal, $6.2 trillion in cuts that will save Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, and that is literally should be debated. It's characterized in a false way, but the media would have you believe that the only thing conservatives talk about is the birth certificate. Watch this.
A Fox News poll from this month shows 37% of Republicans falsely believing the president was not born in the U.S., compared to 47% who do. Some Republican officials fear this line of nonsense will undermine the Republican presidential field.
Will you say right now to our viewers that you have absolutely no doubts that President Obama was born in the United States?
I have the president's certificate right here. It's certified. It's got a certification number. It's got the registrar of the state signed, it's got a seal on it, and it says this copy serves as prima facie evidence of the fact of birth in any court proceeding.
Well, then that should settle it.
Media's obsessed with it. Donald Trump kept saying in an interview with Stephanopoulos, I don't want to talk, my campaign's bigger than this, ask me about this, this, and this. And 7 times he interrupted him about the birth certificate issue.
Sean, if you think conspiracy stories are important, let me give you one that's even maybe 100 times more important. How about the suggestion that the President of the United States was complicit in the attack on 9/11? Remember all those attacks on George Bush? Bush lied, thousands died, that he deliberately got us into a war to profit from it from Halliburton. How about that as a conspiracy theory? Now, this is a conspiracy theory that has been promoted by people like Rosie O'Donnell from ABC and President Obama's own green job czar, Van Jones.
Good point.
Who he himself has promoted this. Where are the media talking about those lug nuts? Where are the media exposing those whack jobs? They're silent on it. But if a conservative says something, they're all over it.
All right. Now, what's up with you going on CNN this week? What do you mean? What's so funny about that? Here's you and your buddy, client number 9, Elliot Spitzer.
How can you, Elliot, how can you, in a straight face, go on the show and tell me you don't have a bias? That's what you were hired to have.
I don't have a bias, and here's the point I tell people. I have very strong views, and I hold everybody accountable. When we talk about the budget, we talk about foreign affairs, we hold everybody accountable. Brent, lighten up. It's only Monday. All right,
Just that little asterisk for
we'll continue this. All right, but I'm not biased.
What are you doing? What was that all about?
I wanted to go on national television.
What?
I wanted Elliot to tell us, to explain to us, that he has no bias, he just has strong opinions. That's kind of like saying Muhammad Ali had a strong right jab, but he didn't know how to throw a punch. This is the last line of defense of the left. I thought it was hilarious to do this show. This man was hired to have a bias. That's why they hired him. And he's on there, like liberals do, looking right into the camera and absolutely denying any bias whatsoever.
All right. I'll concede you did a great job there. Nobody saw it, but you did a great job. Appreciate you being with us. And thanks, Brent. By the way, don't miss tomorrow night, Hannity, right here, 9 p.m. Eastern. We devote an entire hour to media bias. We have a special show. It's called Behind the Bias, a history of liberal media. We'll examine how and why the mainstream Obama mania media, has gone so far left. That's coming up tomorrow night, right here. And, by the way, also coming up is Easter. It's this Sunday. Shouldn't surprise anyone that some on the left are waging a war on this religious holiday. We're going to show you the growing list of incredible examples angering many people and Christians around the country. That's next. Now, Easter is one of the most important holidays for Christians, and as we are in the midst of Holy Week, some groups like the Catholic League are unhappy about how much disrespect is being shown towards the Christian faith. For example, the always controversial Lady Gaga has a new song titled Judas.
I wanna love you, but something's pulling me away from you. Jesus is my virtue, and Judas is the demon I cling to. I cling to. Just a body full of baby. It's so cruel, but I'm still in love with Judas, baby.
And the self-proclaimed atheist Ricky Gervais thought it was appropriate to write an article entitled A Holiday Message from Ricky Gervais, Why I Am a Good Christian. It reads, so many Christians think that because they believe in the right God, they are automatically good and have a one-way ticket to everlasting life. Dare I say it, but I suspect this is their main reason for believing. And joining me with reaction are trial attorney Jennifer Smetters and Fox News legal analyst Mercedes Cohn. Jennifer, let me begin with you. This is only, the tip of the iceberg. Now,
right.
And it seems like it wouldn't get the same news. Like, look at all the time we spent on the Ground Zero Mosque or the Danish cartoons. There seems that there is a double standard as it relates to Christianity. Is that in my mind,
Absolutely.
in my head? Why do you think that's so?
No, I absolutely agree. I think that what's going on here is that some groups are finding that a group that is tolerant, quiet, maybe somewhat passive and understanding about people who have doubts, they're mistaking those attributes for weakness for stupidity. That's not the case. Christians are tolerant. We do not react in a violent manner. Somebody like Ricky Gervais, who comes out, he's a comedian. He is not anybody we look to for moral guidance. And his statements are really out of line here. They're out of place. Nobody is looking to him for that type of leadership. What he's doing here right now is trying to indoctrinate
at all.
Absolutely.
This is all about dollars, Jennifer. That's all this is about. It's about dollars. It's about being a lightning rod. It's about causing controversy. It's about selling records. It's about getting in the limelight. It's all about dollars. It has nothing to do with Christianity.
And that doesn't make it right, Mercedes.
By the way,
it doesn't make it right.
I'm not talking. Listen, I'm a practicing Christian. It has nothing to do with that. I'm not being a moralist here. I'm being what's really a business approach to this. These are two celebrities who say, you know what? I'm going to be a lightning rod because I'm going to sell more records. I'm going to be a lightning rod because next year I want to be the host of the Academy Awards. That's what we're talking about. It has nothing to do with the pacificity of the Christians.
And
it has nothing to do with freedom of expression. It has all to do with getting money and
that does not make it right.
Mercedes,
doesn't make
is
it right.
there a double standard? Because we saw what has happened when, we watched Salman Rushdie, the satanic verses, a fatwa on him, the Danish cartoons, we've seen many controversies. And it seems that these, Lady Gaga, Ricky Gervais, people I don't care about anyway, they make these comments. I'll grant you probably to be provocative.
Get them to host the Academy Awards.
Wait a minute. Why is there a double standard if they attack other religions?
There's a huge target on Christians. Why? Because there are a billion of us. There are a billion Christians in this world.
Why a double standard?
That's why they're a huge target.
But
it's not a double
easy target.
If you think about it, though,
make it right.
I'm not talking about that, Jennifer. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what's the underlying basis? The underlying basis, we're a huge target.
I know,
and it's not about sensitivity. It's all about, listen, Lady Gaga, she's a Christian girl. She went to Catholic school her entire life. That's why she chose to express herself the way she did. I'm not going to buy her records. I'm not going to go to her concert. I'm going to turn off the radio. It has nothing to do with that.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah, Lady Gaga is not walking the walk or talking the talk. Mercedes, I don't care where she went to school. The bottom line is that she's an influence to young youth in this country. And what she is doing right now is upsetting. It's poorly timed. I don't care if it's about money or not. That doesn't make it right.
Jennifer, you're promoting censorship. This country is not about censorship. This country is about freedom of expression. You know what? Our forefathers fought for our freedom. This is about freedom of expression. You know what?
In August.
Number one,
do it.
Number one, you don't have to buy her records.
Not during Easter week.
You don't have to listen to her songs. That's what you do. You boycott it financially.
I won't.
Hit it where it hurts.
Not during Easter week.
One at a time.
August, September, October.
All right, Mercedes.
Go ahead, Dumbshire.
Now it's your turn.
All I'm saying is that with respect to Lady Gaga, it really, it's freedom of expression. Our forefathers fought for our freedoms when
Jennifer,
they came to this country. They escaped the tyranny of the Church of England.
Jennifer,
that's why we have the freedom of expression.
Restraint and respect is what we pride ourselves on as a moral and civil society, and they are walking all over it. That doesn't make it right.
All right. Appreciate both of you being here, and thank you both. And let not your heart be troubled. Where's Greta? I thought Greta was going to be there. Greta and I were having a big fight, so maybe this is part of it, apparently, according to Greta Wire. All right. Let not your heart be troubled. Our great, great, great American panel's next.